Hello, welcome to another episode of Marriage Hacks as we continue to go over the preemptive P's. And today's title is Protective Directive. And the preemptive P is protective. In the dance of love, when your spouse becomes your shield, their arms become a fortress against life's storms. You find safety not just in their embrace, but in the unwavering commitment from them to guard your heart. Stay with us as we delve into this preemptive P. Hello, welcome to another episode of Marriage Hacks with Joseph
and Miriam,
with real talk,
real solutions
for a healthy, thriving marriage.
A protective spouse can be a powerful force in a relationship. If it is mutual, which it must be, it will give you both more confidence to conquer any obstacle that comes your way. To know that the one you love has your back is a comfort that cannot be measured.
And as we always do, we're going to start with our scriptures. The first scripture is 1 Corinthians 13:7. And this is a scripture that is describing love. And it says, love, it always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres.
1 Peter 3:7 from the King James Version says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto your wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers not be hindered.
And the next scripture is Ephesians chapter 5:33. This is the King James Version, and it says, nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Okay, and finally, Proverbs 18:22 from the King James, and we all know this one: whosoever findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtains favor of the Lord. When you guard your wife, you guard your favor.
Now, here are some of the benefits of having a protective spouse, and Miriam was going to first name them all off.
The bullet points.
Number
1, emotional security. Number 2, physical safety. Number 3, loyalty and faithfulness. Number 4, a confidence boost. Number 5, stress reduction. Number 6, shared burdens. And number 7, healthy boundaries.
Now, the first one is emotional security. Now, before I read a description of this first one, now I consider myself as a man, which Miriam's going to read the second one, which is physical safety. But I consider myself as far as the man, as being responsible mainly for the physical security. And as far as I am concerned, I feel like Miriam is more of the one who watches over the emotional security of our relationship, because she constantly puts me in check over things when things come, when I have overstepped or I'm doing something that does not need to be done or said or whatever. She'll say, hey, wait a minute. She'll stop me in a heartbeat and say, hey, you know that was wrong. You know that wasn't right. But anyway, the first one is emotional security. And it says, a protective partner provides emotional security.
Safety,
creating an environment, where you feel secure and supported. And like I said, even though it's both of our jobs to do this, I just feel like in most cases a woman is, because they're more sensitive, that they can do a better job at guarding this part of a relationship. What do you think, Miriam?
For the most part, but there's some women who can be insensitive, or however you want to say it, that are not emotionally mature. So I think it can go both ways, but for the most part, yes, it does for women.
All right, so Miriam, you gonna go ahead and hit the next one?
Physical safety. They watch out for your well-being, ensuring you are safe from harm. I think Joe does that. He does everything that he can, because there's sometimes little things like I'll get up in a chair and he'll say, Miriam, don't do that. I'll do that because he knows I might. But yeah, little things that I can sit and point out that he definitely tries to make sure that I'm safe. Yeah.
Now, before we go on to number 3, I just want to backtrack a little bit to emotional security, and I'm glad that Miriam really thinks that I'm good at the physical safety, because I do my best. Now, we when we started these marriage hacks, we said that we were going to have real talk, okay? And I'm going to discuss one of my shortcomings that I've had, and Miriam is not at fault. It's not anything having to do with Miriam, but it's because of a trauma that I'm still dealing with from a past relationship, when someone stepped out on me, and I'm gonna tell you, my heart was crushed. I mean, that was the worst feeling that I've ever had. I mean, it was to the point that I was suicidal at one point. And it was during my college years. But from time to time, the enemy will bring that insecurity to the surface, and it will cause me to sabotage the emotional security of our relationship, and it will cause Miriam pain, and because of that, and so what it's allowing is the enemy to expose cracks in the shield of our protective layer over our relationship. And I also want to back up to that scripture where it's talking about love, and it says,
1 Corinthians 13:7.
1 Corinthians 13:7, it says, it always protects, it always trusts. So we need to stop right there. It always trusts. Okay? So the enemy at times will use the trauma of that past incident to weaken my trust over my relationship, or over now don't get me wrong, cause now Miriam told me, she said, hey, after we had a sort of a heated conversation, she told
intense
fellowship.
Yeah.
She told me, she said, Joe, I'm gonna tell you right now, somebody, and I'm not gonna tell you their name, came on to me, because but I'm not gonna tell you who it is, because I don't want you to, every time I'm having a conversation with this person, think something is going on. And I apologized to Miriam, and I said, I'm going to do my best to never accuse you again of something that you are innocent of. And I said, but I'm going to tell you, if I catch somebody pushing up on you, I cannot make any promises of what I won't do. I'm just telling you that right now. I said, I can't make any promises. And that's my protective nature over my spouse and over our relationship. Okay. Now, there may be other men, there may be other women, there may be some other women that struggle with this from time to time. Your spouse may be totally innocent, and because of a past hurt, it will cause you to it would cause cracks in your trust layer of protection. So all of these are layers, okay? It always protects. And I think after that, these are layers: trust, hopes, and perseveres. These are layers of that trust. And so,
And even though he questioned his trust in me, I had to make a decision to persevere. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, it hurt. It hurt. I'm sitting there going, "What?" I mean, it caught me totally by surprise, and I've had to take the last couple of days to heal because I didn't deserve it. I had not done anything wrong. But I talked to God, and it was like, okay, you're not perfect. He's not perfect. What are you going to do? And I was like, okay, God, I'm going to persevere.
yeah, and like I said, I took that, and from time to time, I would come to her and say, "You all right? You all right?" After I had apologized because I knew that I had hurt her deeply, and I was embarrassed by it. To be honest with you, I was truly embarrassed by it, and I am devoted not to make that mistake again. I am devoted. But anyway, I wanted to backtrack because I felt like that was very important for us to discuss that, because I knew it would not only help us, but it would help the listeners. Okay, so the next one is
Loyalty and faithfulness.
loyalty and faithfulness. A protective spouse is fiercely loyal, guarding your heart and maintaining trust. Fiercely loyal.
And that's one of those things that my mama taught me and my sisters taught me many, many, many years ago growing up, that what happens between you and your husband stays between you and your husband. Yes, you have a sister girl or two that you can trust, that you can talk to, but you don't go out exposing your husband's issues. It's been 34, 35 years ago. I had a friend, and her husband was hooked on drugs. And she was always evasive about why they were having problems, always evasive. And we were at her house one day getting ready to give a baby shower for her sister-in-law when she was cleaning in a room, and I just walked up to her and I said, "Look, is it drugs? Another woman?" I mean, I named off like 3 or 4 things. And I said, "Girl, what is it? What is it that I'm praying for?" And she said, "I can't expose him." And I'm like, "You ain't exposing him. I'm here for you." So she finally broke down and told me what was going on. And my reaction was, "Okay, girl, now I know how to pray. Now we know how to proceed with this." So you've got to have friends that you can share with, but not expose every little thing about your spouse, because you don't want every little thing about your spouse out there, about your spouse telling everything, broadcasting your business, basically. So you have to be protective. You have to be loyal. Because I can be pissed off at him as the day is long, but if somebody says something about him, I'm like, back up. That's mine. You tend to yours. It's like with our children. You mess with somebody else's, you don't mess with mine.
You know, when we were thinking about, well, when I was thinking about this episode, and how I had misstepped, I was thinking about what God brought up in my spirit was when he gave Satan
Incoming voice
the
call from Rachel.
the permission to attack Job or tempt Job. And he said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" Those words was what really God had really spoke to me. Have you considered my servant Job? Because God had extreme trust in Job's integrity. Okay, and he knew that Job had a fierce, like this term, fierce loyalty towards him. And he knew that no matter what the enemy tempted Job with, he would not violate that loyalty. And you know how the scripture says, perfect love casteth out fear?
Cast out all fear.
Yeah, cast out all fear.
Mm-hmm.
So what was causing my misstep was the fact, and I should, Lord knows I should. I know that I should have a fierce know that Miriam has a fierce loyalty towards me. But because the enemy caused me to fear because of a past hurt, it gets in the way. It got in the way of me trusting her with that trusting her that she had that fierce loyalty towards me. She has proven that over and over again in our relationship. And so I'm gonna do my best to exercise or walk in that perfect love that casteth out all fear. So it will allow me to be like God. When God said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" I'm say, "Hey, have you considered my wife Miriam? She will not." She has a fierce, a fierce loyalty over our relationship, and so I know I can trust her at all times. And that's how you need to be with your spouse. In order for the protective layers to work in your relationship, you have to know that your spouse has a fierce loyalty over your relationship. Okay, am I on the next one or you on the next one?
Confidence boost.
Okay.
Knowing someone has your back will boost your confidence and your resilience. Wow, we just went all through that.
Well, let me talk a little bit about that, because when we told you in the last episode how I invested in Miriam's
Personal training business.
yeah, personal training business and everything, and I let her know that I had confidence in her and I knew that she could do it, and I really feel like that really helped support her success, because she knew that, hey, my husband, he trusted me. You know, he's always he invested in me, and I'm not gonna let him down. That's the attitude that she had. I'm not gonna let him down. And whenever she needed a sounding board, because I'm gonna tell you, just like the scripture says, God will prepare a table for you in the presence of your enemies. There were a lot of enemies, people that did not want her to succeed, people that she worked with. And when she started out working in the gym, in these different gyms, especially this one gym in particular, there were two other personal trainers in there, and they gave Miriam
hell.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And Miriam would come home, and she would sit down and she would tell me the stuff, and I was so upset. I wanted to go in there and I'm just gonna say lay hands, but not in a biblical way, just to lay hands. But anyway, but I know that was a major reason, and still is a major reason, that she is persevering in her personal training business. All right, so the next one is stress reduction. Their protective nature can alleviate stress and anxiety. You want to?
Well, that goes back to the confidence boost. That even when things are going rough, if you know that person has your back, you're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm. You want to read the next one?
Shared burdens. They willingly share responsibilities and burdens, lightening the load. Yeah, that's something that we've talked about before, where if Joe needs something done and I know he needs it done, I'll go ahead and do it without saying, I need for you to do this, I'll go ahead and do it. And there are things that he'll do for me. We've talked about that before in our pampering your partner video.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Oh, yeah.
And then number 7.
Healthy boundaries. A protective partner sets healthy boundaries, shielding you from negativity.
I'll speak to this one because in our relationship, Joe is infinitely more sensitive than I am. And he'll come to me with something and I will sit and I'll listen and I'll let him talk. And many times what he doesn't realize, I go into that situation, whether it's a situation at church or a person or something, I will go to that person about that situation when he doesn't know it. And there have been times where he had no idea that I went to somebody. He had no idea that I talked to somebody. It's just like we do with our kids and protecting our kids. Like our daughter Hannah had a situation when she was in early college and a particular person was messing with her at school. And I got tired of it. And so I made a couple of phone calls. Got in touch with the principal of early college, let her know what was going on, and said, if you don't take care of it, I'm going to take care of it. And I have to give the principal credit. She took care of it because she heard it in my voice. And it wasn't until, maybe 4 or 5 years ago that Hannah found out that I handled that situation. But I do the same thing with Joe. I will go to people and I'll go, hey, this is what Joe is feeling. I need to know if what he's feeling is real or if it's his emotions. And as I said, he's just recently found out where there's several times that I've gone to people and I'll come back and I'll go, okay, Joe, this is the other side of it. And he looks at me like, well, how do you know the other side of it? I'm like, don't worry about it. I know the other side of it. And I'll let him know what's justified and what's not justified. That's sharing burdens, and that's taking care of the other person for me.
And I knew that this
and healthy boundaries.
Yeah, I knew when I read this bullet point, I knew that Miriam operated a lot in providing healthy boundaries for our relationship. I do my part the best I can within the relationship, but Miriam, like she said, she would go outside and start talking to people, that's something that I don't normally do, as far as going outside the relationship and handling things outside the relationship in the ways that she does. I'm the type.
He's the calm one. He's the nice one.
I'm the type person. A lot of things that I do, some of the protective things that I do once my back is against the wall, because that's when things that's not in your just natural nature will come forth, because at that point you are in survival mode. My survival mode will cause me to do things that are outside of my normal personality, and I think we're all like that.
But for me, I'm always in that mode. I'm always in that protective mode, always, 24/7, and it's nerve-wracking at times. Because, like I've told y'all, I'm not a trusting person. So, you got to remember that the things that we've talked about in these benefits, they vary in your individual dynamics for your relationships. But a protective spouse can positively impact your life.
Now I'm gonna tell you, this episode really stepped on my toes in a in a big way, um, and I know that it may have spoke to some of you in the same way, but just know that with a supportive spouse and an understanding spouse, you can work through these things. You can talk through these things, um, and get past it and get on the other side of it. Because just like Miriam's constantly reiterating, once we started this recording these marriage hacks episodes, it has uncovered and exposed a lot of things about our relationship that needed to get better. And so, but that's the purpose of these marriage hacks, is to take or to use this almost 35 years of experience being married and going through different situations, and still going through different situations, to help other married couples strengthen their relationships. So as always, if there's anything that was of value, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And like Miriam mentioned, I mean, there are other videos that we have already recorded that can be a benefit to you as well. So
a good companion to this video is the one that we did about a month and a half, 2 months ago, called Marital Trust. That's a good video, a companion video to this one.
Yes. And so, yeah, when you get a chance, just kind of skim through our library of videos.
We have a library.
Yeah, we do have a library. We've been recording for a little while now.
About 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, and we have accumulated a library of videos. So yeah, go through there, and maybe there's something that can help you right now in a situation that you're going through right now with your spouse. Okay, and as always, check our description for information, books, also equipment that we use for our episode. Some of these things probably can help you and benefit you as well. So as always, have a blessed and prosperous day, and we look forward to seeing you next week.